innovative content, global audience.
Hello, good morning, viewers. It's a cold morning here in the Federal Capital Territory. The rain was so much last night, and this morning we are still very cold. How are you doing today? Yes, this is Wake Up Nigeria. My name is Princess KESSY. I have with me on the show as usual.
Patience, OKOSUN. Good morning, Princess.
Good morning. How was your night?
It was fine, just the rain. The weather was cold.
Yes, the weather is still cold. Even this, as of this morning, I'm still very cold. I left the house quite early before I came to the office, so I'm very cold. And the rain was just so much yesterday. We have a lot of issues. A sad one that the doctors have commenced their warning strike, and the patients are actually feeling that strike, the impact of the strike as of that yesterday and today. A lot of patients, I've spoken to a lot of people. They are crying, they are complaining already. I just really do hope that the federal government will find a way to resolve this, because the life of the people at stake here. And we move on quickly to the newspaper we have. And before I go on to that, I'm going to be bringing in a guest later on today to talk on some of issues bordering on the football world when we talk about sports here in the country. Let's move on quickly to the newspaper reviews. I'm going to kickstart with the Vanguard newspaper. Now, these are some of the stories coming from the Vanguard this morning. The big headline here says, Presidential poll, drama as fashions clash at tribunal. And the rider says, Lamidi Apapa, fashioner chairman attacked in court. Court adjourned petition till Friday. If not for God, I would have died in court. Apapa, this is coming from Apapa over the clash. And another rider says, denies receiving 500 million to stop for Obi's case against Tinubu. Another rider says, INEC frustrating my petition against Tinubu. Obi tells courts. And another rider says, insist on Rivers Sokoto election materials. Obi LP refused to pay 1.5 million certification fee. INEC. These are all the riders, and these stories can be found on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says, since Obi failed marriage led to his death. And this is coming from Zeb Ejiro on page 7 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says, Blinken calls Tinubu pledges to strengthen U.S.-Nigerian relations on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says, hospital services disrupted as resident doctors begin 5-day warning strike. And that story is on page 25 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says, Prelate Emeritus of Methodist Church, Nigerian Umbog, dies at 86 on page 10 of the Vanguard newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says, Anambra, U.S. vows to fish out killers of embassy staff. Death toll rises to 10. No American killed. U.S. Buhari saddened by killings on page 12 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also have a story here that says, why and how petrol subsidy must go, Mogalu. That story, it's on page 2 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also have a story here that says, 10th NAS leadership tension as APC National Working Committee recommends free contest on page 4 of the Vanguard newspaper. We have a story here that says, this is coming from Olufasan. If British courts abuse technicalities as Nigerian courts do, they wouldn't have convicted the likes of Ibori and Ekweremadu. That story, it's on page 16 of the Vanguard newspaper. Also have a story here that says, Eguavon Golden Eaglets will be promoted to F Eagles. That story, it's on page 3 of the Vanguard newspaper. These are all the stories we have coming from the Vanguard. And there's a story here that says hospital services disrupted as resident doctors begin 5-day
5 days
warning strike.
strike.
I said that earlier. Patients are going to feel this. The bonds we believe in the saying that says, "When two elephants fight, the
The
grass
grass
suffers." The
suffers.
patients are not suffering it, and you know how it is here in Nigeria. A lot of people, families are not able to afford private hospital
Hospital
services,
bills,
so they still
yes.
have to go to the government hospitals. It's really sad that at this point we are still here where doctors, federal government is not able to meet their demands, and we are back to warning strike again.
Mm.
We
And
do hope that this will be resolved really soon because, like I said earlier, human beings are involved. And then there's a story here as well that says sent to be failed marriage led to
led to
his
his
death.
death.
I saw
You
that
know,
report yesterday. In fact, I spoke to a Nollywood, one of the producers. When I saw that report, I called him and he said they are still more facts are still coming as to what led, but this is one of the things they are holding on to right now.
okay.
Yes, the wife that he just had to shut down on everybody. He didn't even invite people. That he had 3 children, and there was no time he even invited any of them from for the naming, the christening or whatever, even the marriage. So it was just as if he became enemy to the Nollywood of people, and
Industry.
yes, and he just went away. We're going to see that report is still coming.
Well,
And then this
a
story.
lot is actually happening in courts right now. The major headline here says presidential poll, and then the rider says, there's this rider you actually read that got me. It said, if not for God, I'd have been dead in court at Papa. Well,
There was a major attack yesterday. We have two different factions of the same Labour Party that
yeah.
clashed yesterday.
Mm,
And my take on that, why I really don't want to talk on that, is I feel like these people, they keep disappointing us on a daily basis.
basis.
This is a party that the youth have been able to recognize, to identify with, and at the end of the day, we see all this. It
Coming
shows
up.
that they are all the
No,
same.
the vehicle I entered to this place this morning, the driver and one of the passenger were into an argument, and then the driver said, he's actually a youth, a young guy. He said if Obi should come up again, that he's not going to vote him, that he has disappointed the people with the way he's dragging carrying the whole thing right now. The party actually is carrying the
The
whole
party
thing
is
right
not
now.
united. That is
Yes,
my
the
problem.
party are
And a
divided.
party that is not united, what will happen? It will fall. That is just the
And
reality
he
of
said he
life.
never saw the party that way.
That is the point. That is what I said earlier. I said a lot of youth have been able to identify with this party. And they felt, oh, this is what we've been waiting for. This is exactly what we want. And now they are seeing the same thing they've been seeing over the years coming from APC, PDP, and the
Also
rest. So
coming
it's like,
from
this is so shameful. And it's really sad.
Yeah.
And also, there's a story here that says US vows to fish out killers of embassy staff. I said
I've been waiting for their reply because we cannot tamper with US
I said it
citizens.
yesterday that let's not go and look for a person where there is no problem. We already have enough here in the country. I hope those people will be brought to move on quickly to the next newspaper we have.
I saw coming from the Punch newspaper this morning, the major headline was saying PDP, Labour Party picked as US Secretary of State calls Tinubu, and then the rider here says US promises continued comprehensive security, economic cooperation. Article LP Barrett Blinken say phone call demoralizing, worrisome. You find that story on page 2 of the Punch newspaper this morning. We also have a story here that says, I regret backing Tambuwa to become speaker, coming from Ganja Biamila. You find that story on page 8 of the Punch newspaper this morning. 7 banks fined 1 billion naira for forex offense. You find that story on page 23 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And then we have a story here that says Matawale urges EFCC to probe presidency officials, ministers. You find that story on page 7 of the Punch newspaper this morning. We also have a story that says confusion as LP factions clash at tribunal. You find that story on page 7 of the Punch newspaper this morning. We also have a story here that says Minister Capet resident doctors as strike grounds hospital. You find that story on page 22 of the Punch newspaper this morning. US demand justice for slain consulate officials. US demands justice for slain consulate officials. You find that story on page 7 of the Punch newspaper this morning. And so finally, we have a varsity admission with tears. Direct entry applicants sleep rough at JAM office. You find that story on page 3 of the Punch newspaper. These are the story making waves coming from the Punch newspaper this morning. This last story I read, varsity admission tears. Direct entry applicants sleep rough at JAM office. Now, I have a show here as of Monday where I brought in a professor, and over time I've been hearing people complaining more, especially the JAM. Most people feel like the reason they've not gotten admission, they have all it takes to get admission, but once they get to that JAM office, once they get to that point,
but it's simple. There are other ways at which you can go into the university. I for one, I wrote JAM because anyway, for the first time, I wanted to be. I'm actually a science student from the origin, from the one. I wanted to be a doctor. And at some point, the University of Nigeria, Nsukka was giving medical lab instead of pure medicine. I went still, okay, let me just do it. And at the end of the day, I didn't like the place.
Okay.
Then I didn't like the Nsukka, the hill, the village, the water thing. You go far. Sometimes you go far to get water. Unlike I wasn't used to that kind of settings.
Okay.
You have to go to the market, you have to trek, strange
like
things.
The stress
Yeah, that Nigerian film setting kind of. Yeah, so I felt the stress. The place was too cold then. Okay. Maybe it was the period I went as well. The cold, and I called my mom that I don't think I like this place. And before I was having fever. The next thing, my dad just said, bring her home. I don't want, if she does not like the place, let her come. At some point, I tried again. It didn't work. And what I did was I bought a form.
Okay.
Yes. So in my school then, when you go to Uniport, there's a program called, we have basic for science students. We have certificate for art students. Okay. So what you just do is basically, and even other school, we have some call it prelim, pre-degree, how do you call it? Yeah. So sometimes you can buy this form, do the program for a year, 1 year or 2 years, and then they will still give you direct entry to that same course.
Yes, that's
so I ran that certificate program. You get for 1 year, and then before you will now enter year 1. So it's like the school doing a tutorial for you or their own JAM kind of. You will still have to run the 2 semesters like every other student, but then you are not a student. And then they used to call us that our names are written in chalk and this thing. So if you are not lucky to write it off. So wait until you are a student. And so there are other ways. If you go to Delta State University, they have pre-degree you can do. If you go to other schools, so I don't know why people would sit at home. That was a mistake we made. You keep writing JAM because of one small mark like this, you have to wait the next year. And you know how difficult it is now. JAM is even more difficult now.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
So I think students should learn to look outside the box. You cannot say, okay, it's JAM, except you are telling us that you must enter school. I don't know about the school system now, speaking based on my time. But then you can do programs. I ran a certificate program for 1 year, and before you enter 100 level, and you commence your academic session. So this one, they keep waiting, because saying they should remove JAM, I don't see that happening anytime soon.
That's what they're crying for. They want. I was opportune to follow one to JAM Center to write his exam one certain time. Most of them were like, this JAM, if there's a way, after making WAEC and NECO, they should remove JAM. You travel to go write JAM. Yeah.
WAEC is a stress already, so please.
That's actually
I don't see that coming. So the best thing they can do is to enter school through program. Go to a school that has this kind of programs. Do and try and read. Make sure you are among the best, and before you know, they will just give you free ticket
Admission, free admission.
admission, and there's no how you are best, you are among the best students. You've paid school fees as well, because then we paid school fees was so
Yeah.
much. Then they will still give you admission. It's the same thing instead of just sitting at home.
Well, that's it coming from the Jam um office this
Okay,
morning.
we have the next paper here. That would be this day newspaper. These are some of the stories making waves coming from this day. And the major headline here says Blinken attack on U.S. convoy in Anambra may not have been pre-targeted at our mission. And the rider says Buhari saddened by killings of U.S. embassy staff, policemen in Anambra, others in Benue Plateau. Says proprietors will face the music, and perpetrators, I beg your pardon, will face the music. And another story here says federal government Saludo Harewa condemns attack on United States consulate officials. Anambra governor pledged reward for information. These are all the writers, and you can see that story on page 10 of this day newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says, in honor by broadcasting peers, Arise News channels wins Arise News Channel wins TV Station of the Year. That story is on page 5 of this day newspaper. U.S. Secretary of State calls Tinubu, tax him on inclusive leadership on page 6 of this day newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says Buhari Emmanuel Moore Methodist Church Prelates Emeritus Umbo on page 9 of this day newspaper. These are all the stories we have coming from this day newspaper. As well, we'll have a big headline here that says N is NESG Dangote refinery will create $21 billion market for Nigerian crude oil. And the rider says to meet 100% of Nigeria's liquid products requirements, man LCCI ACCI Lord Massive Project by Africa's richest man. And that story, it's on page 10 of this day newspaper. These are all the stories coming from this day newspaper. I think I like the story here. Dangote refinery will create 21 billion market for Nigerian crude
Crude
oil.
oil.
And the rider says to meet 100% of Nigerians liquid products requirements. That is a big one.
It's a
I
big
wish
one.
that our politicians, a lot of people cutting away with the funds can just set up business as well, not just putting it alone.
Yeah.
Because when you create an empire business, you still have to employ. That means you are helping
Helping
others
the
as well with
you're
the same
helping the
money.
economy.
But it's not like that. And then we saw this news here in honor by broadcasting peers. Arise News Channel wins TV station of the year. Congratulations to Arise
Congratulations.
News Channel. Well
Yeah.
deserved, if you ask me.
Yeah.
These are some of the stories we have. We'll move on quickly to the
To the
next
next
newspaper we
newspaper
have.
this morning. So coming from the Nigerian pilots, the major news here says Plateau massacre, and then the writers news says Reps member cries out over 100 people killed in Mango community in 2 days, and then discloses that over 200 people have been killed by gunmen within 4 months, and then laments that attackers also razed houses, foodstuffs, farm inputs, and then as police says it has arrested 5 suspects over recent killings. You find that story on page 8 of the Pilot newspaper this morning. We also have a story here that says Tinubu Shetima rejects live coverage of PEP proceedings. Tinubu Shetima rejects live coverage of PEP proceedings. You find that story on page 9 of the Pilot newspaper this morning. And so we have a story here that also says Atiku berates U.S. Secretary of State, blinking over phone call to Tinubu. You find that story on page 5 of the Nigerian Pilot newspaper this morning. Federal government declares doctor strike illegal as public hospitals are deserted. You find that story on page 8 of the Nigerian Pilots newspaper this morning. We also have a story here that says Buhari to inaugurate 21 billion naira presidential VIP State House Medical Center. Buhari to inaugurate 21 billion naira presidential VIP State House Medical Center. You find that story on page 6 of the Nigerian Pilots newspaper this morning. Buhari chairs his last fake meeting after 2 weeks in UK. You find that story on page 9 of the Pilots newspaper this morning. And then we also have a story here that says LP factional chairman clash as tribunal adjourns OB petition. You'll find that story on page 7 of the Nigerian Pilots newspaper this morning. And so we have a story here that also says Sunday Mbak, former camp president, is dead. You'll find that story on page 8 of the Nigerian Pilots newspaper this morning. FCDA says renovation of NAS complex resumed, 19 billion naira. You find that story on page 9 of the Nigerian Pilots newspaper. Now, these are all the stories making waves this morning. This story about federal government declares doctor strike illegal as public hospitals are deserted is actually a sad one. It's bad that the federal government are not really listening to the choir of the doctors, or they don't really care about.
Sorry, FCDA says renovation of NAS complex consume 19 billion. Why not give part of that money to doctors now? Because that is quite a lot of money.
That's a lot, and the bad thing of this whole story is that federal government are not even listening to their cry, to their petition. They even consider it illegal.
This
and
is
it's
not even
bad.
a good one. I think federal government need to consider this. But like I said yesterday on the show, sometimes when people demand 100%, if you are not able to afford that, you can start, you can appeal, and so everybody is at peace. These are doctors, and the most annoying thing is that you don't want these people to travel out. You don't want them to go away. So please. I actually have a doctor. In fact, I was chatting with him yesterday all the way from US, a friend of mine here, now he's based there. He was just laughing that I was just telling him that how can everybody leave this country? What's the meaning of this? He was telling me that, I am at peace here. I work, even if I work during the night, I know I'm being paid the due, like no kobo. That money will not short the cover. They will give me my due salary, except you're not willing to work. Are you getting now? So he was trying to explain to me yesterday some of the reasons why a lot of people are leaving the country. This is really sad.
Literally,
I have been to the National Assembly, but as though I've not entered every part. I've been there. I've been to the plenary sometimes with my senior reporter then to cover some of the events. I've gone there to see some senators, some lawmakers. But I don't know how they are using 19 billion to renovate. That is quite.
Now it's not like I personally I don't think, I feel like the government, they do have this thing the doctors are requesting for. They have the power to give, but they just do not want to give them a listening ear because they feel it's illegal. And for the fact that this thing affects lives, is affecting lives, I feel like the federal government should consider them and give them what they are asking for.
It's really a sad one. Anyway, viewers, this is Wake Up Nigeria, and we're still on the newspaper reviews. Now we'll go on a quick break. Don't go anywhere. When we return, we'll continue with the reviews of the papers. Stay with us to the night back.
Everything happens for a reason. Bless life from a different prison. Bless a lot of people locked up in bedtime 7 o'clock.
Oh, what's up, y'all? It's your boy Ice Prince Amani.
Ginger, aka Swagga Swagga. My name now is Femi, aka the Music and Taliban.
What up, Nigeria? K to the O to the NGA Conga.
Afrobeat Night.
Afrobeat Night. The Afrobeat Night.
Afrobeat Night.
Nigerian Week in London.
The Nigerian Week.
The Nigerian Week. The Nigerian Week.
On the 19th of this beautiful month of May 2023.
May 19th.
May 19, 2023. Let's go get your ticket.
Go get your ticket because we're gonna shut it down.
Ice Prince Amani's in the building.
Yeah.
Go get your ticket. If you don't get your tickets, now you sabi. Okay, I'm back with a flow, no joking. You gotta muscle up, cause no pain, no gain, all the Ice Prince.
Okay, my people, it could not be better than this. The Nigerian Week in London 2023 got you covered to the extent that you can get a free ticket to the event. And this is all you need to do. Go to the Google Play Store and download TapTap app. Send as low as £1 to the account in Nigeria using SRTV as your transaction code. Screenshot your transaction and send to 447-459-513619 or email it to events@superiorradioandtelevision.com and the ticket will be sent to you ASAP. This is powered by SRTV London and TapTap Send. You already know what time it is. Your boy Ice Prince Amani. I can't wait to ride this.
Okay, it's so exciting. The game's been dark, but I'm igniting. Everything happens for a reason. Bless life from a different prison. Bless a lot of people locked up in bedtime 7 o'clock.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Ice Prince Amani.
Ginger, aka Swagga Swagga. My name now is Femi, aka the music and Taliban.
What up, Nigeria? Kate the Ultra NGA Conga.
Afrobeat Night.
Afrobeat Night. The Afrobeat Night.
Afrobeat Night.
Nigerian Week in London.
The Nigerian Week.
The Nigerian Week. The Nigerian Week.
On the 19th of this beautiful month of May 2023.
May 19th.
May 19, 2023. Let's go get your ticket.
Go get your ticket because
we're gonna shut it down.
Ice Prince Amani's in the building.
Yeah.
Go get your ticket. If you don't get your tickets, now you sabi. Okay, I'm back with the flow, no joking. You gotta muscle up, cause no pain.
Ice Prince. Yeah. Back from that quick break. This is Wake Up Nigeria. We're still on the newspaper reviews. And here, my next paper here is this day. Daily Trust, I beg your pardon, Daily Trust newspaper. And the main headline here says, federal government to replace striking doctors with ad hoc staffs. And the rider says, demands must be met. Another rider says, patients growing, activities granted in hospitals. All the stories on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Also have a story here that says, we got jobs while serving Pioneer Corps members. My aim of creating NYSC not defeated, go on. And that story, it's on page 3 of Daily Trust newspaper. We also have a story here that says, Trust TV beats Channel's Politics Today. Arise morning show at Bonn Award. This story, it's on page 3 as well of the Daily Trust newspaper. Also have a story here that says, Northwest deserves Senate presidency. Now, this is coming from Abdulaziz Yari, and that story, it's on page 10 of the Daily Trust newspaper. These are all the stories we have coming from Daily Trust this morning. I saw a story here that says federal government replace striking doctors with ad hoc staff.
How?
And there's a story that says, and the doctors are insisting our demands must be met. Now, patients groans, activities granted in hospitals. We have not even seen the last of this.
This is actually serious, so Princess.
It is serious.
How would federal government even think of replacing doctors with ad hoc staff? What do they know?
What kind of country we live in?
We're dealing with lives here. Ad hoc staffs are not professional doctors.
This is really sad if you ask me. At the end of the day, like I said, it's the patient that will suffer this. And it's not everybody that has money to go to private hospitals. These are the issues. So what do we do? And I saw a story here that we got jobs while serving Pioneer Corps members. My aim of creating NYC not defeated. I bet to differ on that. I am one of the people that belongs to the school of thought that NYC should be scrapped. That is a personal opinion of viewers, because I have seen over time where students traveling from one place to another, they will die via accidents. A lot of coppers have lost their lives.
Yeah.
This is not it. It's so painful when you have to train a child to the extent of graduating at that point, just because I saw one accident one time at this Kogi Road. A lot of corps members and we all died. Like I couldn't look at the picture till today. I have that code when I think about that scene. We saw the train attack, the train accident in Lagos in
Yeah.
Copper, and the grandmother said she was just about leaving the country after her service, and the next thing, her
She's
life was
dead.
cut short. So a lot of them, some gun attacks, some election attack issues.
Aside from the killings happening in NYC, my problem with NYC is the fact that now when you don't know somebody, they will post you into one longo, into one village where you don't know, where you know no one. Actually, it's okay if it's being done fair, but corruption comes in where people bring their own candidates. You see those people that know someone, they place them in places like Abuja, Lagos, and put them
That
in
is
big
the
big
issue.
offices. And that's
That is one of the main reasons why I want NYC to be scrapped, because you cannot see a minister's child, a senator's child,
child,
a politician's
yes,
child going to one deep remote rural area.
village.
They will not come to NNPC here, come to CBN and be serving.
Yes,
Then they will not
that's
send
how it
somebody's child.
is.
Like my kid sister, imagine a child, my kid sister is just like 17, 18. She was thrown to Zamfara, one village like that. Ask her not to go, because I don't want to. My mother is already having BP, so you want to take her daughter now to where? To Zamfara. We all know what is happening. My mother was already panting like, "Mommy, don't worry, I'll handle this." And these are the issues. So you will not throw somebody's child. Okay, if they must serve in your area that you're in.
Yes.
So you're familiar with the roads, you're familiar with
Yeah.
the people, and at least that would be easy for everybody. And then you see somebody going abroad, like we had a guest the other night and said, their children will go there after doing whatever they will have to do. They will come here and they will still carry them and go and throw them to all the whole ministry in Abuja. And you that have been here suffering with Nigeria here, they will throw you to one remote village. I was told the other time of coppers that were posted to somewhere in Bayelsa, and the place you have to use, it's a riverine area, so they needed a speedboat to cross over, and they all died. The thing, somehow they had that clash, and none of them knew how to swim. These are the issues.
These
You
are
can't throw somebody
issues.
where, okay, this is a riverine area, this is a
Yeah.
very big sea. These people, they don't know how to swim. They all died. How many coppers? Over 11 or 12 of them. So what are we not saying? Who are serving well? They should just stay in your community to serve. Otherwise, they should scrap. That is my opinion. Anyway, we move on.
Yeah, quickly to the next newspaper this
And
morning.
before then,
Okay.
let's be serious. This hard up staff, federal government, are we going to be here, or we should just find a way to resolve this?
I'm sure they are just playing on Nigerians' intelligence, because it's not possible they should replace doctors with ad hoc staffs. Well, what do they know? Where do they want to start treating patients from? Like, let's just see how that plays out anyway.
We'll see how that plays out. We'll move on quickly to the next newspaper we'll have.
Coming from the Blueprint newspaper this morning, the big headline here says, Tribunal, live broadcast of proceedings, abuse of court process, Tinubu. And then the writer here says court not a soap opera. And the LP's factionals chair Apapa Aburi supporters clash in court. Tribunal adjourns Obi's case to Friday. Now you find that story on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper this morning. We also have a story here that says how NEPC failed to account for 264 million naira in 2019. That's coming from AUGF. And then we have the writer here that says we made available necessary documents as requested management. Incoming administration must fix the roots in NDA's experts. Now you find that story also on page 6 of the Blueprint newspaper this morning. We have a story here that says Tinubu to US. I will strengthen democracy, hit the ground running. You find that story on page 8 of the Blueprint newspaper this morning. And so we have a story here that also says NPHCDA to recruit 202 doctors, 3,806 nurses, 24,461 others. Shiub. Actually, that story is on page 8 of the Blueprint newspaper this morning. I think I'll take that story again. NPHCDA to recruit 202 doctors, 3,806 nurses, 24,461 others. coming from Sharif this morning on page 8 of the Blueprint newspaper. Reps enforced adjournment over impeachment scars. You find that story on page 5 of the Blueprint newspaper this morning. Finally, we have a story from Relate Sunday Mbag dies at 86. Governor Emmanuel Mon. You find that story on page 5 of the Blueprint newspaper. We also have a story here that says blockchain tech. Federal government unveil policy, inaugurate implementation committee. You find that story on page 22 of the Blueprint newspaper this morning. These are the stories making waves from Blueprint newspaper this morning. Actually,
I saw a story there, court proceedings, not a soap opera. I smiled. But my question here is that is it Tinubu that is supposed to decide whether or not they can go do live broadcast or the
on
courts?
all the courts? That's one
That is very
question.
confusing,
Yes. Yeah.
Indeed, court proceedings are not soap operas. That is quite funny. Anyway,
I think I saw a story here that says NPHCDA to recruit 202 doctors, 380, 3,806 nurses, 24,461 others.
why are they recruiting them to? The ones you have you been able to meet their demands? Because it's a body. It's a body. So whether or not you bring in new people, these new people will still follow the old ones because it's a body and it's not the decision of just the doctors, but it's a body, not one doctor that is coming out to say we're going on strike. It's a decision of the body.
The body.
Yes.
Yeah,
So
I get it.
what are they
They should
trying to
meet
do?
demand of the ones on ground already.
We move on quickly to the next newspaper we have, and that is The Guardian. These are some of the stories making waves from The Guardian. Battle in states as 8 ministers lobby Tinubu to retain portfolio. That story is on page 6 of The Guardian newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says doctors strike grants activities at National Hospital. That story is on page 3 of The Guardian newspaper. We also have a story here that says Atiku in disbelief as U.S. Secretary calls Tinubu pledges support for incoming government. That story is on page 3 of The Guardian newspaper. As well, we'll have a story here that says PEPC, INEC, Obi resume hospitalities at tribunal. LP leaders fight over chairmanship torso. That story is on page 6 of The Guardian newspaper. And we have a story here that says Telcoms gives banks ultimatum on USSD debt as presidency steps in. And that story, it's on page 24 of The Guardian newspaper. We also have a story here that says Emmanuel Abba eulogized as CAN ex-chairman Mbok dies at 86, I beg your pardon, on page 5 of The Guardian newspaper. These are all the stories we have. Okay, we have a story here that says hoodlums take over failed Oshodi Mushin Link Road. And that story is on page 8 of The Guardian newspaper. These are all the stories we have coming from The Guardian this morning. I saw a story here that says disbelief, Atiku in disbelief, as because he's feeling that they are still in tribunal. So what's the point of calling? That means you have agreed that this man truly is the next president. I understand that kind of reaction. And then we also have a story here that says National Hospital, as we speak now, activities are grounded there over doctors' strike. And the story here also that says Obi resume hostilities as tribunal LP leaders fight over chairmanship torso. So this boils down to what you said, that somebody said earlier. I don't think the youth will want to recognize with this kind of party because just how many years now, barely how many months they are already there. So give them another 5 years. That means there will be no party. I don't pray so, but this is really sad. is really sad. We move on quickly to the next newspaper we have.
And so the last newspaper we have this morning is the Punch Sports Extra. The major news here says it's City versus Inter final. Citizens more champion to set up Mirazuri clash. Silva brings Akanji and Everest strike sent at Etihad into frenzy. You find that story on the front page of the Punch Sports Extra this morning. We also have a story here that says out. Mina, Firmino, Keta, OX quit rates. Now you also found a story here that says Union won't sell Boniface for 15 million euro. Okay, that's actually a big one. And then we have a story here that says how Napoli beats Liverpool to Osimhen signing. And then we have a story also coming that says Tony banned for 8 months. Wow, Tony banned for 8 months. And then finally we have a story also from the Punch Sports Extra that says United Newcastle in money race. Now those are some of the stories making waves this morning from Punch Sports Extra.
Yes, thank God we'll have a sports person coming on the show soon. Like I did promise, I was going to come with the guests. We'll go on a quick break now. When we return, we'll come back with our guests. Don't go anywhere, viewers. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break.
Everything happens for a reason. Bless life from a different prison. Bless a lot of people locked up in bedtime 7 o'clock.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Ice Prince Amani.
Ginger, aka Swagga Swagga. But my name now is Shefemi, aka the Music and Taliban.
What up, Nigeria? K to the O to the NGA Conga.
Afrobeat Night.
Afrobeat Night. The Afrobeat Night.
Afrobeat Night.
Nigerian Week in London.
The Nigerian Week.
The Nigerian Week. The Nigerian Week.
On the 19th of this beautiful month of May 2023.
May 19th.
May 19, 2023. Let's go get your ticket.
Go get your ticket because
we're gonna shut it down.
Ice Prince Amani's in the building.
Yeah.
Go get your ticket. If you don't get your tickets, now you sabi.
Okay, I'm back with a flow, no joking. You gotta muscle up, cause no pain.
Ice Prince.
Yeah. Ice Prince.
Okay, my people, it could not be better than this. The Nigerian Week in London 2023 got you covered to the extent that you can get a free ticket to the event. And this is all you need to do. Go to the Google Play Store and download TapTap app. Send as low as £1 to the account in Nigeria using SRTV as your transaction code. Screenshot your transaction and send to 447-459-513619 or email it to events@superiorradioandtelevision.com and the ticket will be sent to you ASAP. This is powered by SRTV London and TapTap Send. You already know what time it is. Your boy Ice Prince Amani. I can't wait to ride this.
Okay, it's so exciting. The game's been dark, but I'm igniting. Positive flow, I'm so attracted. Everything happens for a reason. Bless life from a different prison. Bless a lot of people locked up in bedtime 7 o'clock.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Ice Prince Amani.
Ginger, aka Swagga Swagga. But my name now is Shefemi, aka the Music and Taliban.
What up, Nigeria? K to the O to the NGA Conga.
Afrobeat Night.
Afrobeat Night. The Afrobeat Night.
Afrobeat Night.
Nigerian Week in London.
The Nigerian Week.
The Nigerian Week. The Nigerian Week.
On the 19th of this beautiful month of May 2023.
May 19th.
May 19, 2023. Let's go get your ticket.
Go get your ticket because
we're gonna shut it down.
Ice Prince Amani's in the building.
Yeah.
Go get your tickets. If you don't get your tickets, now you sabi.
Okay, I'm back with a flow, no joking. You gotta muscle up, cause no pain, no.
Ice Prince.
Yeah. Ice Prince.
Okay, my people, it could not be better than this. The Nigerian Week in London 2023 got you covered to the extent that you can get a free ticket to the event. And this is all you need to do. Go to the Google Play Store and download TapTap app. Send as low as £1 to the account in Nigeria using SRTV as your transaction code. Screenshot your transaction and send to 447-459-513619 or email it to event@superiorradioandtelevision.com and the ticket will be sent to you ASAP. This is powered by SRTV London and TapTap Send. You already know what time it is. Your boy Ice Prince Amani. I can't wait to ride
Okay, it's so exciting. The game's been dark, but I'm igniting. Positive flow, I'm so attracting. Where the freestyles or even writing. Everything happens for a reason. Bless life from a different prison. Bless a lot of people locked up in bedtime 7 o'clock.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Ice Prince Amani.
Ginger, aka Swagga. But my name now is Femi, aka the music and Taliban.
What up, Nigeria? K to the O to the NGA Conga.
Afrobeat Night.
Afrobeat Night. The Afrobeat Night.
Afrobeat Night.
Nigerian Week in London.
The Nigerian Week.
The Nigerian Week. The Nigerian Week.
On the 19th of this beautiful month of May 2023.
May 19th.
May 19, 2023. Let's go get your ticket.
Go get your ticket because
we're gonna shut it down.
Ice Prince Amani is in the building.
Yeah.
Go get your tickets. If you don't get your tickets, now you sabi. Okay, I'm back with the flow, no joking. You gotta muscle up, cause no pain.
Ice Prince.
Yeah. Ice Prince.
Okay, my people, it could not be better than this. The Nigerian Week in London 2023 got you covered to the extent that you can get a free ticket to the event. And this is all you need to do. Go to the Google Play Store and download TapTap app. Send as low as £1 to the account in Nigeria using SRTV as your transaction code. Screenshot your transaction and send.
Quick break, like I did promise. I was going to come back with a guest. I have my guest with us via call, Mr. Umbamalu Michael. He is the technical advisor to Soccer and Sporting Games Nigeria. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Morning.
How are you, sir?
We're fine.
We're fine, very fine, thank you. Thank you for joining us this morning. So tell us, the soccer world. Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. As a technical advisor to Soccer and Sporting Games in Nigeria, what's going on in the sports world here in Nigeria?
The sports world, well, I think we're trying to put one or two together because all along, Nigeria is the largest continent in Africa. And at the same time, we are being expected to do very well when it comes to the big stage. But right now, I think we need to go back to drawing board and then get things done.
Okay, now what are some of the, you say we should go back to the drawing board to get this done. Now, that means there are challenges here and there, or there are some crises here and there. What are some of these challenges you people are facing here?
Okay, I think the challenges in sports in Nigeria, we can talk about, first of all, underfunding.
Okay.
Then the second one, we can say inadequate attention to minority sports.
What does that mean?
Okay, you don't like the little sports, we don't pay attention to it, all those squash, badminton and all that.
Okay, so everybody just channels their attention towards football, the bigger club.
Yes. Yes. And again, the third one, I can talk about maybe politicization of sports and then poor management.
Okay, can you explain?
Okay, when I talk about politicization of sports and then poor management, what I'm trying to say here is that the people at the helm of affairs are those ones that have been nominated just to be there. who does not have a sound idea in sports or sound idea in physical and health education. So everything is being publicized. But if we have to put the people at the helm of the affairs, the people that are directly involved in the sport, I think Nigeria will do better because they know what it entails to take the Nigerian sport to the next level. But those people, when you just politicize everything, their interest is specifically for themselves and all that. So thereby not paying more attention to the games.
Okay, there's this headline we read yesterday. It says Yankees laugh last as Balongo dumps Nigeria for U.S. main national team. What do you have to say about this?
That's what we're saying.
Okay.
Yeah, the interests of the players are not being protected 100%.
So our players are going out.
Yeah, that's why you see most of the Nigerian players dumping Nigerian teams to go to play abroad, where their interests are being protected 100%. Sometimes here, when you sustain an injury, nobody looks at the particular player anymore. They focus on the new ones. So actually, that comes to the poor management that I talked about.
Okay.
You understand?
And then when we talk about some of the players we have, they are really doing well internationally. Like when we talk about the popular Osimhen, there is no day that comes by you don't get to see or hear him, see him on the headlines. Now and then we see that these boys are from here, but everybody is going away. Now, what do you think we do?
Okay, that's where I talked about underfunding. You understand?
Okay.
So first of all, the Osimhen is always making the headlines. One can easily ask himself, why doesn't he pull the same stunt when it comes to Nigerian games?
That is the question.
That's the question. Now, Osimhen will not put 100%
energy
when it comes to the game. Yes, energy. Because when there is, if by accident of luck anything happens to him, nobody goes back to say, okay, how are you doing, or what are we going to do in order to bring you back to your standard. You understand?
Yes.
But in the Western world, in the course of the game, if you sustain any form of injury, they will do all their best to make sure that you're back. If it involves surgery, whatever, their attention to players are top notch.
Wow.
So that's why you see that when they get there, they put 100% effort to ensure that their game is at the top.
Okay. So let's talk about our stadium. Of recent, we read in the news that Uyo Stadium new Super Eagle home ground as CAF rejects Abuja. What's your take about this? Of course, we all know Abuja is the capital. They should be here, but now they reject Abuja as a stadium going down to Uyo. What's your take on this?
Okay. Have you been to the National Stadium recently?
In Abuja here?
Yes, in Abuja here. That's the MKO
Abiola National Stadium.
Central area. I've been there recently.
Okay.
You know, that's when I talked about poor management. Just because nothing is happening in the stadium, if it's they leave everywhere fallow. The bushes are not into right about everything there. The facilities are dilapidated on a daily basis, and nobody goes there to say, okay, how do we revive all these things? But when you look at the National Stadium when it was built in 2003, it was a good sight to behold. But when you get there now, poor management, the grasses here and there, the whole facilities are in shambles.
Well, who are supposed to speak up? Of course, there should be a body that or a set of people that should come up and bring the attention of federal government to the National Stadium instead of just abandoning it.
It's supposed to be the duty of the Ministry of Sports. Even I can tell you for free that they have their own office there, but not to do about the maintenance of the facilities of the stadium.
Wow.
So that was what I was trying to say there. If somebody at the top there is someone who has played maybe football or basketball
Okay, now, Mr. Umbamadu, when we talk about, I once had a guest here on the show that said, like something you did point out earlier, that most time they politicize the sport here in Nigeria, where you see a lot of people that are, because I know that is one sector that is really thriving in another country. I don't know what's happening here in Nigeria, but I know that sector is that industry. It's doing quite well when we talk about other countries. Now, he made mention that a lot of youths are there. They can play, a lot of footballer, a lot of people that are into sports. They can do very well. But because they don't have anybody to bring them in, they don't have anybody to sign them. You just see people that will come and buy a player or pay for being signed. So how true is this?
Exactly, it's absolutely true. Now, most of the people that you see playing abroad in Nigeria here, because they don't have anybody to stand for them.
Okay.
They've gone for training time to time and all that. It's assumed that they are not good enough. But when they get there, you see them flourish. That's the same thing I talk about politicizing the whole thing. Like now, when you look at the Cameroonian sports, you understand? It is Samuel Eto'o that is the NFF chairman.
Okay.
Sorry, the Cameroonian Football Federation chairman. You understand? Okay. Now everybody knows Samuel Eto'o when he played and all that. He was
yes.
You understand?
Yes.
But in Nigeria, you can never see any of those people at the end of affairs like that, administratively. The same thing happened in Liberia when George Oponwe, he won World Best in 1996.
Okay.
On getting to Liberia, he became their national football federation chairman. But when it comes to Nigeria, it is only the political circle that goes there. Now, leaving us with square pegs and round holes, how can they operate? These things are not magical, because every dimension of success is, be it spiritual or whatever, every dimension of success is strategic and intentional. It is only a madman that applies the same principle and expect different results. So once you put things in place, things will start working.
That is true.
But once you leave the square pegs in round holes, they cannot function, because they are clueless about how the whole thing functions.
Okay. Now, what do you think we do? You are a technical advisor. Now, what do you think we do? A lot of things, like you made mention, are not working the way they ought to work here in the country. What do you think is the way forward? And before that, the youth also, like I said earlier, this is one industry that the sector is quite thriving in other countries. How do we make the youth? Well, I know that you're a coach as well. So I know you have a lot of young people under you, you're training. How do we get more people into this? Gone are the days where they think, oh, my child will have to be a doctor, my child will have to be a lawyer. Now the footballers are even doing well than others. How do you think the youth will, how do we drag them or focus their energy or their mindset into the soccer world? Because I know a lot of people are fans, they are fans, they are football enthusiasts where they like to watch ball, but they don't want to play. Like, they feel like, I don't have anybody, even if I play, how will I get to that stage? Like, I even feel like, what another thing I wanted to ask also, Mr. Mbamalu, the local leagues here, what's happening with them?
That's inadequate funding is the problem.
Okay.
You saw when Ojizo Carlo took it upon himself with the Enyimba Football Club of Aba.
Yes.
He took it upon himself, not waiting for the state government to do one thing or the other. He took it upon himself to sponsor them. That was when they carried the CAF Champions League. And after them, they've not gotten past the quarterfinal stage anymore till now.
Wow.
Inadequate funding. Politicizing the sport. That's our problem.
Wow.
You understand? Now, if you talk about solution, we need a total reformation of the sports industry.
Okay.
We need total reformation. We need to bring in the people who knows what it takes to be a sports person. We need to bring them on board. We have veterans. We have a whole lot of people who play this game at the big stage, but they are not being involved because they are not politicians.
So do you think, in your opinion, that when we have sport people in these major seats or in at the top there, it will change the narratives?
Of course, because they know what it takes.
Okay.
You understand? They know what it takes to be there, and they know how they were taken care of while playing outside the country. So if they transform the same thing here, it's going to make a huge impact.
Okay.
Because people like what they do not understand. When you tell somebody that you need maybe $5 million to organize a tournament and all that, and he doesn't understand, he doesn't know that this is part of the fundamental social and interpersonal skills which will aid in crime reduction, you understand, and building national. He does not understand it. So he will just put your proposal under the carpet.
Wow.
Okay.
So what do yes.
Okay, sir. Just before we let you go, let's not forget our eaglets. How well do you think our eaglets are doing?
You saw the eaglet the other day.
Yeah.
They crashed out. They tried their best.
Yeah, they tried, but they crashed out.
There's one other thing I want to say. If we have to channel our energy and focus on primary school games and secondary school games, you will see our ego bouncing back.
Okay.
You understand? But like in Nigeria here, we look at all those things as a matter of complacency. We have been doing it for donkey years, so when it gets there, we'll do it. If they tell you the time that they take to prepare those eagles, you know that they've tried in their own capacity. Now, these things are not they are not supposed to be fire brigade approach. It's something that you grow them from under 6 to under 8, from under 8 to under 12 to under 13 and all that. So when they get to the big stage, you see them, there will be a lot of cohesion in their game. But when you talk about individual brilliancy, we have it. But what about the unity of the game? We don't have it because they've not been kept for a very long time. You understand? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. So now, on a final word, how do you think we bring the more youth into the sports world here in the country? Because a lot of people, like you said, are already giving up hopes that nothing is working here when it comes to the sports world.
Okay, I think the best thing to do is let us go by merit. Once we stop politicizing the sports, we will have a better result.
Okay. Well, thank you. Yes.
If we should focus on strength and ability, what can you offer when it comes to the field of play? Then you see we'll have a better result. Not who knows who and all that. You see some people who doesn't know anything about the game, but they'll be included because of the money.
That is true.
Yeah. So once we stop politicizing sports, you see us at the next level.
That is a good place to wrap up with you, Mr. Umbamalu Maike, Technical Advisor to Soccer and Sporting Games Nigeria. Thank you so much for being part of the show. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, sir.
Hope that the sports here in the country, the industry will be revamped really quick. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Have a nice day, sir.
Have a nice day.
Yes, sir. Yes, I've been on the phone with Mr. Umbamalu Maike. He is the Technical Advisor to Soccer and Sporting Games here in Nigeria. Well said. It's the same thing. I know the other man we had, Mr. Manti Sujiti, also said that the industry here needs total
reformation,
overhauling. Yes, they should go back to the drawing board. Before we now have every other person leaving the country, doctors are leaving, sport people are leaving. Please, we don't want that.
Media to start living.
We'll live
to start living.
But that's just a joke. We're here. We're not going anywhere. We're here to be the countries, to make sure that everybody have a better place to live in. That would be a good place also to wrap up the show this morning. Thank you so much for being part of the show. And Pat, thank you for
Thank
being
you
with me
for
on the
having
show. Viewers, this is just to remind you of our Nigerian Week London, the new dates now, because the event was postponed, and the new date is 20th to 22 July of the same year, 2023. So do keep that in mind. Even though the date has been postponed, we know that it's just around the corner as well, just barely weeks from today. So do where to get your tickets, get your stand, and or be part of that event. We already have a lot of superstars talking about Ice Prince. Ice Prince Zamani is in the building already. You know how it will look like. And we have Konga, Rishi Femi, we have Terry G, Twiliki, a lot of them. And then we have a lot of movie superstars, producers as well. We'll have a lot of ministries, agencies, and parastatals that are already working with us, so you don't want to be left out. We have individuals as well buying tickets. Come and showcase your product. This is the best place for you, for the world to see you. Of course, when you go to London, you know what that entails. Just come to London, showcase your style yourself. We're going to show our colors, our food, our music, everything that has to do with Nigeria, and of course the businesses as well. So be part of that event. And while you are out there, also stay safe. This is rainy season. Please stay safe. Be at alert as well. When the rain, normal, I used to tell people when it's raining, I used to pack, look for a very safe place, because I don't have strength for rain and
Because that's the most safest thing.
Yes, so please, if you know you can't drive on the rains, please do well to stay off rain, and of course obey the traffic laws. Just before we go as well, don't forget to hit on the notification bell.
Share and like our page.
Invite somebody to the page.
Tell somebody that something is happening in SRTV studio.
Is a change. Make sure that person also brings another person, because we're giving you very interesting programs from here. Well, thank you so much for being part of the show. I won't forget to thank the people behind the crew behind the camera. Thank you for all you do. And of course, the crew also in London. We appreciate your efforts. We do this again, hopefully tomorrow. And before then, remember,
Peace is priceless.
so let's give peace a chance. I remain your truly Princess KESSY.
And I am prepared to
See you tomorrow.
Everything happens for a reason. Bless life from a different prison. Bless a lot of people locked up in bedtimes having a clock.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Ice Prince Zamani.
Ginger, aka Swagga Swagga. Bro, my name now Rishi Femi, aka the Music and Taliban.
What up, Nigeria? K to the O to the NG.